Good morning, ladies and gents. It is Thanksgiving week, and I am getting going on the blue C10 No Limit chassis project. I did a bunch of stuff last week that wasn't really film worthy. I'll give you a quick rundown. So you saw I was balls to the walls on Sunshine. So we sublet this out. Not happy with the work that was done. The wiring, as you can see, is slightly a mess. I had to fix a bunch of stuff. They actually had wired the passenger side headlight, low beam and ground circuit in reverse. So it was backfeeding the entire system and giving power to the body where the body should be ground. Also, once the cooling fans came on, it was causing enough backfeed where the truck would not shut off. The whole interior would power down, but the truck wouldn't shut off with the cooling fans on. Engine would just stay running. Took me a little bit to find that. We've got multiple lines that are leaking all over the place. Power steering lines are leaking. The no torque converter bolts were ever put into it, which was super awesome. All the brake lines are leaking. I've got to go through all that one by one, each fitting, and fix all that. What we're going to do today, though, is I'm going to take out, this is my brain box for this remote start system that's in here, which we do not like because basically you use this ring here, you have to mount it somewhere under the rug or wherever, and you swipe that thing over it, and then you can start it. It's a pain in the ass. It came with the truck, but the other problem is, like, this is a Barrett Jackson truck, so we sell this to somebody, we have to make it very known that that's how you start the truck. And they might not do that for the next owner if it gets resold again and whatnot. So we are just putting in our normal digital dog push button that we get from Fat Fender in all the vehicles. So we're just putting that in. I'm just putting that in. And then I'm going to mess around with some other stuff. I did some tuning on the Holly because it was just way out of whack. Everything was just... We would have been better off just leaving it at the shop and letting me build it from the ground up, because I'm redoing somebody else's work now, and it's not fun because half the stuff is just, I won't say it's run wrong, but it's not run in the smartest of ways, wiring wise. So everything is all over the place. And one major thing I don't like is, you guys know I'm a big proponent of my high speed, low speed fan setup. Because you don't need to run, unless you're in an over-temp condition, you don't need to run the fans at high speed. Usually low speed will cool the truck fine, no problem, vehicle, truck, car, whatever. And he's got them wired up so that both of them, one comes on at 195 for high speed, the other one comes on at 200 for high speed. And the other problem with that is that's a pretty substantial draw on the electrical system, which doesn't need to be there, because if you had both fans running at low speed, cools it right off, no problem. But he has those relays mounted under the dash here, so I would have to run a mile of wiring to get them correct how I want to do it. So we're just going to stick with that for now. It works. It's just not the greatest way to do it. And I kind of expected more. Oh, some yelling and stuff going on in the shop. It's super awesome. I forget where I was. But yeah, so I'm going to get onto this push button start and get this thing wired in here. And then we'll go from there. And I'll let you have a listen to it idling and everything. I've got a lope tune, I've got a normal tune, I've got a few other things I got to go through. Still got to mess with the timing tables a little bit, and then definitely the fuel tables, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it all done. Not sure when this truck is going, but we'll keep you up on that too. Alright guys, we're back apart once again. I've got the remote start mounted in there. Got the column out. I took the cluster out just so we don't scratch up this nice billet. So same as they always work. Unlock button powers the system up. I wired this one to be accessory 1 and accessory 2. So accessory 1 basically just turns on your radio. Nothing else is controlled by that. Accessory 2 turns on your HVAC, the Holly, the Dakota Digital, all that stuff. Then you press the brake pedal, it starts flashing, that tells you it's good to start, and you start. So So we're good to go with that. You hold it to shut it back off, and then that'll stay on until it either times out, or if you hit the lock button, it times out. I've got to tie this up in here nice and tight, and then I can put the cluster back in, and I'm going to find some nice bolts or nice screws to use, because the ones that they had in here, they had these big head screws which don't even fit in the holes for the cluster mounts themselves. So I'll be totally honest with you guys too. I am most likely, because of time constraints, there's going to be a lot of shorts on this truck, but not a lot of long form video. And that's just because it's the holiday season. I'm in the middle of home improvement stuff. Literally tearing up my bathroom as we speak, and getting the first floor completely renovated to rent out. And between that and the holidays, I just don't have a boatload of time. So it's easier for me to just blast through work and do short little updates than it is to do long form on it. But there will be some here and there, just not as much as usual until after probably Christmas, because we got Thanksgiving this week. Next week I'm gone for training again to finish up my final training for Maserati. And then the week after that is the company Christmas party, which I'm getting ready for because I'm a prima donna and I got a brand new suit and all kinds of nice stuff. And then Christmas, and then New Year's, and then back to a normal schedule finally, thank God. But I will do a few more videos or a few more captures on this video of this truck. I'll pull it outside and put the lobe tune in it, and do a few more other things. We still can't drive it yet because I got to fix all the brake lines and stuff. But I think that was the last of the interior electrical stuff I had to do, was that push button start, because I did get this radio working and everything good, and got the amp system tuned in. It's got two, I don't know if they're 8s or 10s behind the seat, a 5-channel amp that powers all the speakers. Got 6.5s down there, and I forget what size, I think 6x9s in the back corners here. But let me get to some work stuff over here. I got to put some brakes on some cars, and then we'll get back onto this thing. All right, short video, because it's been the longest short holiday week ever. And like I've said before, I'm gone all next week, so I got what I could get accomplished. So the dash is fully bolted in. If you saw my short, you saw how pissed off I was at that right there, because this vehicle got painted before taking off all the, they were down on the floor, the speed clips. We didn't paint it, it came painted. But I've got everything in, all my lights in, my directionals are all good, my hazards are all good, all that good stuff is all good. The radio is all done. The vintage air, I got my illumination all on there. The heat works awesome. The AC, we have our fittings ordered for that. What else do we have ordered? There was something else. We got the nut coming for the washer system as well. But I played around with the Harley and got my idle where I want for low. So as soon as it idles down a second, you can hear that nice little lope. Got that in there. That's just a little extra tuning on the Harley on your under-over spark tables on a tab I had to open, because otherwise the thing idles pretty smooth, even for a GM hot cam that's in it. What else did I do? I'm trying to remember. It's been like, literally I worked on it 3-4 days ago, but it feels like it's been 2 weeks because of this week. But that's probably about it for today on this thing. I will tell you, so I've taken it, the steering column is in here temporarily, so we could move it around because it needs to be moved. We have a new correct column coming that will eliminate this whole issue with this rubbing around here. It's basically the exact same column, but 2 inches more length, so it'll come up 2 inches more and have plenty of clearance right there. And it won't be hitting this $800 Ring Brothers gauge panel. I'm trying to think of what else I did. So I said I got the heat good and working. That's because I put in the solenoid valve for the Vintage Air heat diverter valve that shuts it off when your AC is on. Under the hood, I don't think I really got anything else done. Oh, slipped right off and almost hit myself in the face. No, so like I said, we got fittings coming to do this. We've got the correct fuel pressure sensor coming, not a 3-bar, basically map sensor. I don't know how I thought that was going to work. But yeah, then I'm going to do some cleanup in here. I can set my fuel pressure as soon as I get that in there, because we're not putting a mechanical gauge on the regulator itself. We'll set it electronically because this does show up on Holley. I took care of the whole power steering system. There's no leaks in there anymore. Took care of the whole brake system except for the lines under the truck. Like, I've got the electric brake system to work, which it's not a bad system. Would I do it again? No, I'd rather just put the properly sized manual master cylinder in there, but I mean, this thing does work pretty decent, but it's also expensive as hell. I think that's about it. That's all I've got done on it. I've let it heat cycle multiple times. Fans, even though they come on full speed and there's no high-low speed, they do work. They just put a hell of a draw. But I am going to run, like I said, ground cable to the body. And he has a ground going to the block, and then from the block to the frame. I think I'm also going to run under the cab from the frame to one of the seat mount bolts. So that way I know everything is grounded as good as it can be. I've always said, and you guys know, you can't have too many grounds. They're redundantly awesome, and they will eliminate a lot of little electrical gremlins that you had. But that's about it. So this is where we sit with this truck right now until I get back next Friday, and then we can get going on it. We'll do little fine-tuning things, like the window crank mechanisms need to be adjusted and tightened up a little bit because they're a little loose. I've got some more parts in here to put in. We're going to drop this rear end down a little bit so that it evens out with the front ride height, so the thing sits nice and level. And I mean, that's really it. It's very close. Hey, look at that. I left the parking lights on. Let me turn those off. It's very close, and it's just small odds and ends and some plumbing to do now. And then we are good to go for some fun test drives.